Part of the Commonwealth, 22 minutes after 8 p.m. Eastern, the 2019 season of CAF soccer is underway. And Virginia, a Pacific team that tried to go to work themselves right away. Anthony Orendane working to the verge of the attacking third, but no further. Alan Shuttler in goal for the Cavaliers. He is in his redshirt junior campaign. There's Middleburg, Virginia products. There's both Chris Shuttler campaign under his belt, really holding things down season for this University of Pacific team in the down the stretch games, the ones that mattered in that NCAA tournament run. And so a couple of familiar faces to the fans of both these programs will be in goal to get things going this time around. There you saw Shuttler for a moment, and a little more of a posture of defense on this side as these two teams fill one another out in the midfield right away. And there's Ryan Herr. He's fighting for every inch of real estate near the top of the 18. Able to dribble out and kick a pass to Orendane. Cross to the middle, an attempt to set up the header for his knowledge of this game, and certainly love him as a leader in there between the posts. The IQ for this sport extremely high, and maybe put to the test again, as it has been the University of the Pacific on the attack. Tigers have had possession early in this one. Here's a first look in the direction of Shuttler, but that comes all the way near flag, where it's gathered up by Reyes. Pushing it deep. And UVA sets up a wall, lets that simply work its way back. Kessler was there to provide the pick, and Shuttler will play it short right back to Kessler. Rick Kessler, of course, a junior out of the Empire State, out of New York, no less. At 6'4", 185 coming into this 2019 season. It was a Virginia squad that could go the distance, that could perhaps hang Columbus. And that's going to be straight to Shuttler, who leaps up into the air and brings it down. Alan Shuttler led the ace in 2018, .796 the total. Eye-popping numbers. They expect him to pick up right where he left off, just in terms of the makeup of this squad, which has 6 natives of the Commonwealth, by far the most of any of the other states that are represented here in the U.S. A trio of players from New York, a trio of players from Massachusetts, and then one from 7 other states to go along with the 6 from the Commonwealth. 12 international players against the 16 from the United States coming together to make up the roster for UVA. A couple of the products of England, and Stanford had been beaten 376 days since they had been beaten at home over a year. They had gone to penalties in 17 against Stanford. Would be a tournament-bound season. Nothing short of impressive so far. High-profile location of UCLA. Remember, it was Jordan who had restarted the program. This is a team in only its 6th year back. Yes, they've made 3 straight postseason appearances, but it was a 29-year hiatus, almost 3 decades without men's soccer. Before in 2014, everything was jump-started by Ryan Jordan. It's paid dividends for. That was after taking over for current UC Irvine coach. 2015 championship and a 4-0 defeat at the hands of Pfeiffer. So he went from one of the better, more consistent D2 programs in the country to a squad that, yes, though they are freshly restarted, have been it's going to go against Steedman and set up the Tigers on this change of possession. Here's Jose and Hel Reyes. Virginia close. This is a team that went 4-30-1 in the first 2 seasons back, and since have hosted and won. Fame Funa getting ready to take the throw-in chance for UVA. What can they do with a set piece? It's reacted on, and a header as Orindane tried to win the ball into the year. Okay, 5 goals and an assist a year ago. He's one of the guys that they talk about the improvement that he has made. See number 9 in the thick of things before all is said and done here. He's out front a little bit now. And Joe Bell worked it to him. Sequences. Traveled to Germany this summer for training that the staff really praised as a boost to his development. Real learner, dropped about 12 pounds to get himself lean and ready to go. Instead by Kessler over there, and it's going to eventually give Shuttler some options. Branch. Attempted takeaway. Fame Funa wanted the foul call, didn't get it. That's okay. Movement of the game to Fresno, and regardless of the impact the Wildfires had on the game. Durham, one of the perennial programs in the ACC. Tigers making sure they're on the same page here. Impressive tackle there, not far off the midfield circle, right there at that trademark Virginia logo. But it results in nothing but back and forth. Down to 25 minutes remaining in what has been an entertaining first half, back and forth between these teams in terms of possession of the ball. But in an effort to win the ball in the midfield for the most part, only 3 shots have been taken, and they all belong to Virginia. It's a team that is almost assured of making it 39 in a row. The question is, can they turn it into what would be an 8th championship? They certainly have the pieces in place to be in the conversation throughout the course of the season. Starting distance, the Tigers gave it a look. One corner kick apiece. Shots for Virginia to the 1 just taken by Pacific, the only of the game for the Tigers. North Carolina, Notre Dame, Duke. This team is made of. That game on September 2nd, right around the corner. And Fame Funa, who is right there alongside. Boy, big time. So he's their returning leader, top returning. Jimenez, he is the star player, the lone preseason all-conference selection in the WCC for Pacific that one would think must be out there on the pitch for the Tigers to be successful here today. So a big developing story, the yellow card he just received. Left-footed into a crowded distributor. What he does is a leader. Second on the team with 5 assists in the FIFA under 20 World Cup that took place in Poland. Had a nice showing in that FIFA under 20 World Cup. Only representative, well, there was one representative to be. Only representative, well, there was one representative to be. While it is from distance, will be sent right down at the top of the 6. In the next several moments, those 2 standing at the ready for the Tigers. Personnel grouping for Virginia, having held steady in this first half. Good bend for the next several moments. And those two individuals we talked about just a moment ago. Kai Lang, and also
number 11,
beats California. And Lang, a freshman, making his way to the University of the Pacific out of Tokyo, Japan. So the Tigers holding their own in this first half as we dip under 10 minutes to play in the initial period. Very similar to the way they played in the NCAA tournament. Seeing this sport at a high level at a number of different stops. Assistant for 12 years at Cal State Fullerton. Smothered up this look in this first half if they're going to carry any type of lead into the intermission. It's the season opener and the tune-up ahead of the highly anticipated, maybe at his best in that moment. The end of the first period. And in the saves for Bondre, only one required of Shuttler so far. Fouls pretty even, and this is a number that and have visions on getting back there and doing damage once more. 7 fouls against the Tigers, 6 fouls against the Hoos. To it. Decision making to come on out and punch that away. A couple of corners for the Tigers to 1 for UVA, and 3 offsides calls, all against the Hoos so far. Speaks to some of the opportunities they didn't quite capitalize on and didn't quite maybe materialize in the end. First half. Inside flag arc. The header from the Tigers, and there's a second to semi-clear it. And Virginia's great scoring opportunity on that 5th shot, and then the set piece that followed. Tested in certain moments and equal to the task. Have been the dominant forces in this match thus far. Gets away from Donaciano momentarily. And chases it down the far side, just shy of the touchline over there. Fancy footwork to get inside the 18. Can't shake the defender's mark, though. It rattles around off a couple of bodies, and here's a shot that will find the back corner of the net. Little cleanup duty, and it is Donaciano who has the first Virginia goal of the year. They celebrate the junior out of Roanoke, Irakazi Donaciano, to equalize in the final 80 seconds here. To avoid reaching, we get set to begin the second half of action. The University of the Pacific Tigers and the Virginia Cavaliers back out on the pitch, and the final 45 in this one perhaps underway. This is a Pacific team that has made it a habit of playing extra time, especially when separated by just 1 goal. That's certainly not out of the question at the moment. Pacific put on the 18, and it's eventually cleared out of there by the Tigers. ACC coaches also handing Virginia one of only 4 votes for the outright championship. One of only 4 teams, I should say, receiving votes for the outright championship. Virginia getting a single vote. Wake Forest and Duke, with North Carolina tallying the other 9 first-place votes when you look at the big picture. Working near the post, able to feed. Who else but Donaciano again for the finish. And that feed was from Daryl DK, and it was a very impressive delivery. High ranking, we were just discussing the expectations in the ACC, the way this team played in its friendlies, the way it prepared in the offseason. Pieces that are there, that are picking up their first goal of this contest. 8 shots for Virginia to 6 of them for Pacific. 7 on goal for the Hoos, 2 on goal for scoreboard, now 2-0 UVA. Ignaciano now has him oohing and eyeing every time he gets a touch. And with good reason, scoring in the 44th minute, scoring in the 48th minute. On assists by DK each time. Gunnarsson was also credited with an assist on the first goal, so a couple of different players helping feed Ignaciano that time around. Both he, Philip the Virginia corner. Situation from out in the midfield. Lull this fan base and this Cavaliers team to sleep just a little bit and get Jimenez involved. It's a little too deep for him, and Virginia clears it as a result. On the Pacific side of things, and comes another great chance on a set piece for Virginia. They find themselves less than 30 yards away. Pretty good crowd here tonight as well. Some 28 years later. Halsey steps away as Joe Bell gets ready to take this. ACC watch list player. Key returner. New Zealand puts a foot into it. A header clears for Pacific. And Jimenez, who's been quiet in this game as Pacific tries to put a push together. Started all but one game last year. He missed the regular season finale against Gonzaga after picking up his 5th yellow card. Eight freshmen. You see cramps having to be worked out up near the midfield, and the training staff, at least that would appear to be the case. You know, just before that latest contact, and this newest opportunity for Virginia. Cavaliers were all traffic, and it's eventually going to be cleared away. Pacific looking for, obviously doing his part and moving on along as planned as the other. And just how good was Camden Riley? He ended up drafted to play professionally after setting so many of the records there in the restart and the reboot of the program. Second round selection of Sporting Kansas. 6 saves already secured by Ethan Bonray tonight. Crowded from Irakazi. Donaciano. Native of Roanoke's. Patrick Henry High. Which came in the 44th and the 48th minute respectively. Really, you look at the closing moments of the first period, a bit by the gentleman wearing that Cavalier blue and orange jersey number 11. Hold on for another 16 and a half minutes against a pesky Tigers team out of the West Coast Conference. Talked about how the ACC lines up. The WCC, in their preseason voting, slated ahead of San Francisco, Santa Clara, and then Gonzaga to round out the preseason poll. The header didn't clear it enough, but that's okay because Virginia able to run it right out of there with some outstanding work on that back line. Quite the slice of soccer coverage. In fact, one of the final third of this second period. Enough disruption provided on that tackle from James there, and then trying to line up a shot cleared by the header of Aaron James. It's her. Nothing will be. Well, just shy of the corner arc in the flag. It's it onto the foot of DK. Like it had a chance maybe for a header from Crofts, and DK tried to kick it in, but neither of those efforts proved fruitful. 14 shots for Virginia, having to fight hard as he's swallowed up by University of Pacific Tigers. Numbers for Pacific, although Virginia gets back, closing quickly. Blocked off. Look at the closing speed on that last sequence for Virginia. It speaks volumes about their ability to defend. It's a Virginia team coming in. They want to find that consistent scoring to go along with what they know can be a smothering defensive approach. And solid play in between the posts from Colin Shuttler. Welcome reception from the UVA fans, still enjoying the closing moments of this match on what has been a perfect Friday night, both in terms of weather and shaping up that way in terms of result for Wahoo's fans, perhaps. Drew the attention of the referee. Jimenez kept quiet tonight. Preseason all-conference player for the Tigers. We have seen impact up and down the roster for UVA. This is a night in which they capitalized on 2 of 14 chances from shots to be assessed to caution alongside of the Virginia bench on the Wahoo side of things. Boy, those passing lanes, the shooting windows, they all close up very quickly. No room for even the through ball. Those the shots have, at least in point blank range, have been almost impossible, and with any real manageable look whatsoever have been hard to come by. And that's Virginia men's soccer. Has been for a long, long time. Pacific trying to put together a charge in the final 3 minutes. And they get on the board. And this is the Friday night opener of the men's soccer season from here in Charlottesville. Our pleasure to have you with us, all on our ACC Network Extra crew here at Klockner Stadium. On what is 2 minutes 40 seconds away, Virginia can hang on to this 2-0 advantage from being a very memorable night in the Commonwealth. Here's DK would have chested for the strong right foot of Eric. This match required every bit of energy these two teams had. It was physical from the get opener. Trending Wahoo's direction as the 7-time national champs and a team having made their mark on the college soccer scene with 38 straight NCAA tournament appearances have taken the first step toward making it 39 in a row and turning 2019 into one of those memorable years here in Charlottesville. From just outside the 18-yard box. Let's see if Pacific can steal away a late goal here. Shuttler directing traffic as this goes straight at him. And it's kicked out of there by DK in the end. And that will set the shutout in effect. Virginia is going to open the season 1-0 on the strength of a 2-0